Complementing his new book, War and Paracetamol, actor and performance poet Bob Goody, with his cousin Laura, leads us through the Cancer Collection and the fucking scary Virus Diaries, not forgetting mayhem from the last 40 years. Here is your host, Bob Goody.
Okay, we have press record.
Oh, are we going?
We are. We
Right.
started.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Laura.
And this is Laura. Yes, she already said she's Laura. I'm an actor, and I'm a sort of a poet. I never quite say I'm a poet, but I suppose I am a poet.
You are a poet.
Because I've written a lot of poetry.
Yeah. And before everyone turns off quickly now,
yes.
It's great poetry.
Well, that's very nice of you to say so. What I thought I'd do to start our podcast off,
Yes,
Laura,
yes.
is read you my very latest poem. I started writing poetry 40 years ago, so almost to the day, and I'll explain why shortly. I do go on, but I thought what I do.
No, that's quite good because it's a podcast and people will enjoy listening to it. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you turned us off.
No, it goes dark. Just to let everybody know that we're not very technical.
No.
The pair of us.
No, it's the way you suddenly tapped it.
No, I think we're still on.
Okay. So I'll read you my latest one, which might provoke some discussion, and then I thought we'll then maybe go back.
Yes.
So this is my latest poem.
Okay.
Right, and it's called Nanny Parker.
No.
You see, I knew it. So I said, what did I say? Met Nanny Parker, my mother's mother, in my dream last night. Quite a surprise. I haven't seen her for over 40 years. She just appeared. My tiny grandma, 4'11" of her, a brilliant self-taught pianist, walked over to me and gave me a huge hug and held me for a long time, longer than the average hug, as if to say, everything is going to be okay. Tears were welling as she looked up at me, smiling. No words, just open, beautiful smile. Then I woke from the best night's sleep I've had in months. Oh. Thank you.
Oh.
Well, it made me go funny.
Yes.
Now, explain the relevance of that.
Well, Nanny Parker is...
Your nanny?
982.
Yes, we
because
both have the
we
same
are
nanny.
cousins.
Yes, we're cousins because my mum's brother is Laura's dad.
Yes.
And my mum is my mum. Well, obviously. Well, she is. Yes, I didn't know where I was going with that. No. But she is, isn't she? She was.
Yes, she was.
Yeah.
And Nanny Parker was incredible. Was just the most incredible woman.
She was. She was very tiny and very extraordinary. And she was teaching the piano when she was something like 13, wasn't she? I mean, a brilliant woman.
Very, very sadly, she went deaf.
Yes.
Which lived with her. It was just her whole life.
Yeah, she had one of those. She had one of those mics, old-fashioned mics, that she sort of wore in her bra, didn't she? That whistled very loudly, and it was awful for her.
She was an incredible knitter, if you remember.
Yeah.
And crochet, and she used to crochet little bags to put her mic in.
Yes, that's right.
They were quite.
Yeah,
something.
and Grandad got well pissed off, didn't he? Sort of in the nicest possible way with her.
But those mics were bad.
God, yeah, they were terrible.
If anyone could actually remember those when those batteries started whistling. In actual fact, they probably affected people's hearing.
Yeah, and they were also the size of a mobile phone, weren't they? Actually,
they
quite
were
thick and bulky.
Yeah.
So that's my latest, right? And I thought
that's absolutely wonderful because I've come up today to do this, and we don't really know. We're taking it one step at a time.
And I thought I'll read my latest poem. That'd be a good place to start. Then I opened my book. I thought, shit. My latest poem it's about our joint grandma.
And I've got a lovely cup of tea.
The mother of my mother.
And the mother of my dad.
Indeed. The wonderful Dick.
Oh, yes. Which you come on to later.
But yeah, a very special man, actually. But now, I started writing my poetry almost to the day 40 years ago.
Yeah.
And what prompted it is, I say I try and keep this brief, but that's a ridiculous thing to say. It's not going to happen. But
it is you, Bob.
I know.
And actually, we're both known for talking quite a lot.
We are. We're very gabby. I'd never actually. I don't think I'd ever written poetry before. I'd written quite a bit of stuff, But and I'd worked with Mel Smith, as you know, and all that stuff, which is another day.
We'll come back to that one.
And I've got a poem about Mel after he left us. Anyway, but I was playing Frankenstein's monster in a very, very heavy duty of Frankenstein. It wasn't a Christmas show, but it was going on at Christmas at the Plymouth Theatre Royal,
right,
in their studio theatre. It was very intimate. And I think people thought they were coming along, for a bit of a laugh.
Right.
And Stephen Lowe had written this heavy, heavy duty piece, and I was playing the monster, the creature, as he was called, Tarvik, which is Victor backwards, Victor Frankenstein being the man who made the monster.
Right, yeah, I'm there.
Yeah. And rehearsals went really well. Josie Lawrence was in it, so there's a famous,
lovely, yes,
famous name for you.
Well, I love her.
She wasn't famous then, but great woman. And it was it was going really well. And then we came to sort of approaching the end of rehearsal. I had to sort my makeup out, and I talked to a BBC makeup person, and I decided the idea was that my body had been built from the bodies of the Napoleonic Wars. Right?
Okay.
So
it must have been big.
So I thought, yeah. So I thought
quite a few.
Yeah. So I had the idea that my head had been put together from 4 quarters.
Okay.
So what I did, I shaved my head.
Nice.
I've always been a bit of a one for going for things, and I made up a sort of like a scar going right the way around my head from my chin to my neck, and also sideways. So you saw sort of 4 quarters with sort of blood and stuff. And then, I was having this particular morning, and it was we were a couple of weeks away from Christmas or so.
Yeah.
So it was all, and I was going into a separate room above the rehearsal room to practice it. And I thought, what I'm going to do is going to make up this gelatine. I had a little gas stove, and I got some gelatine to melt it down. You know what gelatine?
Yes.
You get as liquid, and then it suddenly goes off. And what I was trying to do was find the point at which I could tip the gelatine over my head, so it wouldn't burn my head.
Nice.
But it was still runny.
So what? This is you're doing your own makeup.
I'm doing my own makeup, but I'd consulted somebody, and I got.
Oh, please.
But so I'm sitting. It's quite. So the whole thing was quite traumatic. Anyway, so I heated up gelatine, and I'd done this makeup underneath, and I'd sort of darkened my eyes and hollowed them and all that. Then I tipped the gelatine over, and it just came all down over, and it was very hot. I thought I've just overdone it. But,
I thought you had a degree in chemistry.
I did actually. No, not a degree.
Okay.
I had an equivalent to an A level.
Oh, that's okay. You should have done a degree then.
Well, that's when I made bromine in my kitchen sink. But that's a story for another day.
Another one.
Yeah. But anyway,
this podcast could go
but this
on.
was quite a traumatic sort of hour. Anyway, having poured all this over, and it covered me, and I just sat absolutely still until it went hard. Then I screwed my face up, so it all cracked. And then I rubbed fake blood and earth and shit all into it, and it looked. And then I was like, whoa.
Oh, you must have looked quite something.
I did feel, I did. I looked very, very scary, actually. And I went down to the rehearsal room and said, get a load of this. And I went, whoa, And so I said, great. And I said, I'd go and take it off now. And I was feeling a bit off-centre. So I went back up to the room. I got it all off. And I came down and no one was there.
Yeah.
So it was lunchtime. Oh, they'd all gone to the pub. So I left and went off to the pub. And I walked into this pub, the regular one we always went into, and it was absolutely heaving.
Right.
With office people having a great Christmas.
Oh, okay.
A great Christmas time. And I wonder, because I've written a poem about this.
Yes.
I wonder whether I should read the poem. What do you think? Or tell the story. It might be more.
Let's go poem.
Should I read the poem?
Well, it's a poetry podcast.
Well, that's a good point.
Clues in the name.
Yeah.
So if we do.
Yeah.
We've done one, which is amazing. But let's go because this is the poem.
This is from the fucking scary virus diaries.
I know. One of my favourites.
Dated the 8th of March 2021.
And I will try not to laugh too much.
No, you're allowed to.
Okay. Fine.
And it's called Looking Back. So I've set it up. I think that's quite good. Looking back. Been looking back a lot lately. The sort of thing you do, I suppose, when you think you may not have a lot of time left. I may well have a lot of time left, he said hastily, but I just don't know, which is a concern, I suppose. It's 4:30 in the morning, remembering back to 1983. Actually, I think that should be 1982. Never mind. Remembering back, I have to change that.
Oh, God.
Remembering back to 1983. A few years ago now, I was playing Tarvik, the creature in a very, very dark version of Frankenstein by the great playwright Stephen Lowe. You should know him, special man, at Plymouth Theatre Royal. One morning near to opening, I was practising my makeup. I shaved my head and made it up to look like 4/4 of battered skulls that had been sewn together from the corpses of the battlefields of the Napoleonic Wars. I then poured very hot liquid gelatine over my head. My skin glowed. I sat very still, eyes closed, while it cooled and set. A strange feeling. Could hear the cast rehearsing, giggling, all festive in the room below. Once set, I screwed up my face. The gelatine cracked in various places. I rubbed earth and stage blood all over my head and neck into the cracks. Showed the cast. They recoiled, horrified. Job done. I was very pleased, but felt very peculiar. Encased, not quite me, an eerie feeling. I cleaned up. Took me a while in my fragile state. Went to join the cast for lunch. They had disappeared. Still not quite feeling myself, I set off for our usual boozer. We always went to the Jolly Farmer. No one was there, apart from about 500 drunken Christmas office revellers in cracker hats. I squeezed to the bar, thinking the team must be there somewhere. They weren't. One amusing drunk pointed at me, bursting into the refrain, "Nuts, whole hazelnuts," to the tune of the Harry Belafonte Calypso classic, from an advert I'd done some years before, for which I was always getting recognised. A bizarre claim to fame. Half the pub joined in with cries of, "Sing it, come on mate, sing it." I refrained from the refrain. They all laughed. I don't think I did. They wanted to buy me lots of drinks. I refused, but they bought me a pint. Anyway, found a seat in a corner on a table with 5 giggling girls, barely able to speak from the excitement, more than happy to share their Christmas party with a television star. I was very angry. Could not believe what was going on. Sipped my warm beer, chewed long and hard on my slightly stale turkey and cranberry sarnie, trying to get things clear, getting crosser with every... spelling error. With every swallow.
What was the spelling error?
When I put 2 withs. With every with.
Okay.
Sorry, with every swallow. Took out my red jotter notebook and decided to try and express my feelings in 4 very terse, very short, very bitter, rhyming verses. I had written a poem before. No, sorry, I had never written a poem. Shit. I had never written a poem before. I didn't finish my beer, refusing more. No, sorry, I didn't finish my beer, refusing more from the giggling young ladies, determined to cheer me up, along with half the pub, with more singing. Nuts!
Oh.
It didn't work. I left, nursing my very terse, very bitter, very short, rhyming verses. I was in a dark place. I was early back to the cold, empty rehearsal room. Another actor arrived, full of festive cheer and festive beer. "Where'd you get to, Bob?" he said. I had to drink your pint, he laughed. I didn't. Silence. "Are you okay?" he asked. "No," I said, "I'm not all right, mate." "Great makeup, Bob," he said. Terrifying. Terrifying. "Yes, I know," I said. The cast assembled. They could see, oh too clearly, that I wasn't quite me. "I want to read you something," I said. I read them my 4 very terse, very short, very bitter, rhyming verses. They were shocked, horrified. There were tears, no laughter, which I'm keen on normally. It wasn't funny. They all thought they told me where they were going. They hadn't. With generous hindsight, I could have been wrong. At the time, I quite definitely was not. I left, feeling a lot better. Frankenstein opened a few days later, just before Christmas. Punters thought it was going to be a jolly festive romp. It wasn't. It was full-on dark. My first entrance through the audience in the Drum Studio Theatre frightened the shit out of them. A lot of troubled people left at various points. Lots of banging of seats with cries of outrage, the patter of angry feet. When Frankenstein's wife, Elizabeth, appeared naked in bed with me, covered in my fake blood, after I'd been stabbed. I was rather good. One of the best things I've done, I think. Turn me to drink, obviously. I've been writing my, not always, very terse, very short, very bitter, but often dark, often funny, rhyming, or not, verses, ever since. And this is no exception. But this is a long one. I like a long one. Memories. And it always makes me feel so much better. Thank you.
Oh, Bob. Absolutely brilliant.
I didn't read it that well, but yeah. I haven't looked at it for a long time.
No, we got the gist.
Did you get it?
Yes.
Did you get it right? So good.
And this was your first one?
Well, no, the 4 verses were the first ones, you see. No, this one I wrote on the 8th of March. No. So, and unfortunately, I haven't got those. I've searched for them. I don't know what happened to them. I haven't got them, but...
It's good to know that how much you have got, though, because I have seen the table where you've got your poems out today.
Yeah.
Quite a lot.
I've got a few, I know. I have got a few.
Which I'm not surprised that you can't actually find.
No, actually, I don't
what you're looking for.
I don't think I kept them because at the time it was purely... It became a great way of getting something out, you see. And then, so from that, I went on to write, and funny enough, in that very production, there was a guy called Ronnie, who was a very, very nice man. He was our musician, he was primarily a drummer. And he was doing all the music for the show, live. And he was doing a Leaving Totnes he was having a party because he lived there and he was known as a muso in the town. And he asked me if I'd do I'd come and do a stand-up, you see.
Yeah.
And I said, it's like a lot of people at the time thought I was a stand-up. So no, I'm not a stand-up.
No.
I do funny, I do funny.
Yeah.
I do funny acting.
Yes.
But I don't do stand-up. He said, "Oh no, Bob, come on, you got it, man." He said, all this stuff. Ronnie, no. Anyway, about 2 days later, it was the following Friday. He came into the rehearsal and he showed me this poster, and and on the poster he said, "And guest star Bob Goody from TV's Smith and Goody." From when I did the Stephen Mel. And I said, "You bastard." He said, "You're going to have to do it now." So I thought I could write a couple of poems for it.
Okay.
So, maybe that's the answer. So I thought I'd write a couple of poems, and then I had a shaggy dog story. I was saying this the other day, and someone didn't know what a shaggy dog story was.
No.
So, shaggy dog stories are very, very long jokes.
I didn't know what a shaggy dog story was.
They're very long.
I actually just thought you were going to talk about a dog which had a lot of hair.
No.
Okay.
No, I don't know. That's a good point. Completely ridiculous. A shaggy dog story it doesn't sort of have a punchline. And I have a very good shaggy dog story, which I won't go into now.
That's another one.
It's about a train, and it's about a guy who wants to go to Crewe on Friday.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the train isn't stopping at Crewe on Friday.
Okay, fine.
So he has to find a way of still, so that's the shaggy dog. It goes on and on and on. It's very good. So I told that.
Yep.
I told another story, another joke actually, I think. But I then wrote 2 poems, right? Which I thought I might.
And this is what we're going to do. And these are the first ones.
These are the first poems I wrote.
And you'll stand up then in Totnes.
Okay. And the first one,
right. Okay.
So I wrote.
These are the first ones. Then we're going right back now.
So these are the first poems after the ones that I did.
Yes. And this is going to be. This is what we're thinking now, isn't it? Is how we're going to go from the last that you've just written back to the beginning, and then perhaps
maybe we'll come
all
forward.
the way come forward through.
Yeah, maybe we'll come forward to things like cancer.
Yes, yeah.
Lots of laughs.
Oh no, everyone's turned off now, Paul.
Sorry. Anyway, this first one, rather sensibly, is called Totnes.
Of course.
Right.
Really useful.
This is my opening to the start of my stand-up.
Yes.
I've been to London. I've been to Rome. I've been where the birds go, with the bees. I've been to Moscow. I've been to Birmingham. I've been to the lavatory. Then one day I met this bloke, and do you know what he said to me? He said, I bet I know a place where you ain't been. And I said, bollocks. And I hit him viciously. I'm a violent man at times, I can't help it. I had a bad childhood, you see. Laying there in a pool of blood, he spoke so quietly, he said, son? He said, son? He said, son? He said to me, he said, son, I bet you ain't been to Totnes by the sea. Well, it ain't really by the sea, but nearly. I said, Totnes? Is that near Loch Ness, where kilts and cavers be? He said, no, you stupid bastard, it's in the West Country. And with those words, he passed away. Up there, down there, who can say? I thought, shit, I've got to mend my ways. I can't keep hitting people day after day. So I combed my head, put on a clean vest, ironed my undies, I did my best, and headed west. And here I am, in old Totnes, nearly by the sea. It's quiet, isn't it? Dull, almost, but friendly, hopefully. Thank you. That was sort of my first ever poem.
That's great.
Yes, it came a bit of a shock, actually, because I was slagging it off. And then...
So you've just lost the Totnes crowd. Yes.
But then this one, this poem is very dated for obvious reasons because I wrote it then, as this is 82, right?
Okay.
But I'm not going to change. I'm not going to update anything.
No.
It's called The Queen.
Okay.
Have you heard this before?
No.
Have I never done it?
May have done.
You know what's coming.
Well, then it always worries me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's called The Queen.
I'm going to spend the whole podcast in a state of worry.
The Queen.
The Queen.
The Queen, the Queen. What does she mean? Where does she stand in the modern land? I mean, she's got a big house, a big boat, a lot of reddies, that's true. But deep down, is she like me and you? Does she do the things we do? I mean, does she actually sit on the loo and poo? Or does she turn to a maid and say, have a shit for me today? Does she get pissed up with the Duke, rip all her clothes off, leave in the bed, leave out again, and puke? When abroad and in the sea, does she have a royal wee? Does she take Marge instead of butter? Have sex in the armchair before they take away supper? Does she fart in bed and say, sorry about the stench, Phil, I just dropped one, okay? Does she buy a veg from the corner shop, wear skin-tight Levi's, no bra, and a sexy top? Does she laugh and cry and scream and say, fucking hell, where have you been? When the Duke arrives home at breakfast time with Charlie's wife and a crate of wine. Does she? No, I don't think so. She's in a different class. Mind you, she must have to wipe her own arse. I mean, she must have sex and fart and drink a bit. It's only natural, isn't it? Thank you. It's very dating.
It's so good.
Still quite funny.
I don't actually think it's dating. I'm not sure I can go on. It's great.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Really
I found
good.
that this morning. I thought, I've got to find the Queen.
I actually don't think that's dated.
Well, no, but Charlie's wife's a bit of a tricky one.
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah. You could argue. I did change it to Charlie's ex, but I thought, no, it doesn't make any... No. You can't, and I couldn't... And of course, he's not with us either, the Duke, is he?
No.
I've got plans about him as well, needless to say.
God.
Right, so that is, if you like, so we've done where I started. See, and these, I have to say, that little 15-minute performance I did in Totnes went down. I mean, I'm saying myself.
Did it go down well?
Just between you and me, but I suppose someone else might hear this.
Yes.
But it went the storm, yeah.
Yes.
They loved it. I mean, the Queen did go the storm.
I think the Queen could go really well now.
I used to do it. When I started doing it, so I started performing my stuff quite quickly. I did it in the Plough, my local pub, where Laura has been up many times. We always put when I do shows in the upstairs bar of my local pub. It's a brilliant claustrophobic, hot and sweaty room.
Oh, it's lovely.
We always make sure Laura is sitting at the front with her entourage, which is sort of sisters and husbands and anyone else she can pick up on the way up from Brighton. And they set themselves up with about 5 bottles of white wine.
We do.
Maybe a bag of crisps, don't you?
Well, yeah, we don't like to eat too much because it really interferes with the drink.
Yeah, exactly. And then and what's brilliant is that they just laugh. And what it does is because sometimes, I mean, people are scared of poets.
Yes.
I don't think they necessarily think perhaps she's going to be funny. It's going to be a bit stilted and a bit impossible. Even if they know me, they think, oh, God, what's happened to Bob?
Yes.
And there's still that danger. So the fact that very early on Laura, gets everyone going is So I'm most disappointed when Laura can't make it.
Yes.
In fact, if what I'm hoping, I go on tour once the book's launched next year.
Yes,
I'm hoping I might have to take Laura on tour with me.
I'm going to be like Bez.
Yeah.
Yes, I'll be like Bez, won't I?
Yeah.
I don't be a bit plonked around or
What's the band? What's Bez's band?
Happy Mondays.
Oh, is that what they did with Bez? Right. But because that would be good.
But he used to dance, didn't he? On the side.
I'd pay you.
And now
I'll pay you in white wine.
Can't wait. Sounds like the best gig ever.
How long have we done now?
Well, we're probably... Let's have a look. Oh, we're on 25 minutes.
Well, do you think that's enough for now?
Yeah. I mean, considering we don't really know...
No,
and also my tea, I'm getting down on my tea now. I've had a lovely cup of tea during this. Which has basically not been hard work for me, but more for you, Bob, because I've just sat around and laughed.
No, but it's nice. I think hopefully we,
So we're hoping to come back and do another couple.
Yeah.
And see how this all goes.
Yeah. See where we go from here.
Yes.
Where do we go from here? Peter Scallon.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, lovely.
Yes.
He died rather suddenly last year. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I think he did.
All right.
Where do we?
Suddenly, I feel quite sad about that.
Where do we start? He's also breathy, wasn't he? I'm a bit breathy. That's because of the steroids I've been taking.
That's another poem. Another story.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you if you enjoyed that.
Yes. And if you did...
No, thank you. If you didn't.
But we hope you did.
Bye-bye from me.
And bye from me. Thank you, darlings.
Thank you for listening. Please get in touch or leave us a review. You can check out Bob's book online or at any good bookstore. See you next time.